This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts.
Hi, I'm Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
And welcome back to another episode of
Smoking Out the Closet.
For those of you who are new or just joining us, we are a queer podcast
Pun intended.
that talks about cannabis.
The LGBT community.
Cannabis? Wait. The LGBT community and everything in between.
And beyond.
So welcome.
There you go. We got there.
We got there. Let's just go straight into the review because that's the reason why I'm all right now. So the state of Pennsylvania has slowly been getting more and more live rosin. So for those of you who aren't aware what live rosin is, do you want to explain it, Ezzy? Or do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, so basically live rosin is when they take the buds and they chop it off the plant and then they flash freeze it while it's fresh and then they press it. So it doesn't have a cure on it at all. It's fresh pressed frozen flower and then this is the extract that comes out.
Sometimes they'll make ice bath hash, like water hash or ice bubble hash, and then make rosin out of that in the process, but it's all still flash frozen, no matter which way you get it. So we have Prime's Londyn Lay number 50, the Great Peach Pheno live rosin. And oh boy, is it good.
Great Peach, that's what the Pheno is supposed to be?
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't taste much of either of that.
It tasted more nectarine to me.
Yeah.
Which I guess is kind of in the
Peach
wheelhouse.
cousin.
Yeah. So one thing I will say before I go into the breakdown, if you have a rosin, keep it in your fridge. They were supposed to stay cold. So every time while we were using, we're literally like, okay, we got to refill. I went, grabbed it out of the fridge, put a fill in, closed it up, and ran it right back to the fridge.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking at that every time I get in the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you excited to try it?
Yeah, I was excited to try it. I haven't tried any rosin yet.
Neither have I. This is my first one.
How fitting, because Prime was also my very first dab ever.
Same. So the THC is 20.002. THC-A is 64.630, and then THC-V is 0.24%. It has 0.975% CBG and 0.426 CBC. Now it's got 0.398 pinene, 0.3 repeating beta pinene. A little on the higher side, but you seem to be doing really
there
well.
must be you said there's limonene in there too.
Yeah.
I think that's wise because there's a higher amount of limonene.
Yeah.
That I'm uplifted and I can kind of feel like my chest is kind of weird funny, but that's also because I'm doing dabs.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm hacking so much.
It's got 0.542 humulene, 0.357 linalool. This is where you're really getting into the effects here. 1.229 beta caryophyllene, 1.171 beta myrcene, 2.315 limonene.
Yep, I feel that definitely.
So this is great, yeah, because you're saying your mind's quiet.
It's quiet. I have a singular thought. It's one, and then I can finish it, and then move on to the next one. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you rate it then?
I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It's on par with. I referenced that white Durban because that also similar feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that was the one I remember on second visit after the podcast made me clean the apartment, which is why I'm like, I can't rate it higher than the white Durban.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I can just get up and clean the whole apartment. I feel like I can make phone calls, schedule appointments, I can function and it makes it not as daunting to want to do those things.
Yeah, because the thing with the white Durban crumble was it was really high in terpenoline.
Yeah, and that was the motivator.
Yeah, which I always jokingly say is the choring terpene. Because it helps us get up, do our chores and everything. It kind of helps with that, especially when you're in depression funk. This more helps with the Londyn Lay that we had today. It's more the mental health side of anxiety. Making it so you're not having that social anxiety to do stuff like you said, make that phone call, talk to people.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I wish I had this while we were at Walmart. I was so fucking anxious.
Yeah.
And I just pulled myself back into my hoodie when we went to the self-checkout, and I was like, I don't want to see any of these people.
To be fair, post-church crowd. So, I mean...
Yeah, we tried to also get pizza at Costco. And
bad idea.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to rate this a 4.2. 4.20.
Hey.
Out of 5. I really liked it. I am very high right now.
Can I just note that I always think it's interesting to look at how much you have to take in compared to me.
Yeah, when it comes to cannabis.
Yeah.
I will say I think that's mostly because of our hormone therapy.
Yeah.
Because I was told when I started estrogen that alcohol is going to hit me a lot stronger and a lot faster now. The doctor was jokingly saying, like, well, you're in college. You don't have to spend as much on beer now. I'm like, okay.
And then testosterone, my tolerance went up.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a 0.5 gram like a couple days ago from my store, and I almost killed it already.
Jeez.
I'm going through them in like 2-3 days. I get them cheap enough that it's not an issue, and I have samples and shit now. But like, it's still it's a problem. The T stands for tolerance, not for testosterone.
See, for me, it takes me like a week or two.
It used to before I started T, man. Boo. My boo. I don't know. Sorry, I went into stoner mode because podcasts, dude.
You're good.
Man, bro, we're all dudes, yeah. Anywho,
oh boy. Going back to
the testosterone has really like. I feel like I could some days. I swear to you, I could sit on that porch and only inhale cannabis smoke and not be very stoned at all. I could probably sit and smoke a whole eighth. If you roll that into a joint for me, I could probably smoke at least 3/4 of it until I felt, oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, also, like, situation, because the brain gets bored on a lot of things.
Situational, like, what's going on, who you're with, can also...
Yeah, because me and my coworker were talking about this, and one of my coworkers said, like, yeah, if I'm fucking home, I get down, like, a bowl, like, an eighth. No problem.
Yeah.
But I'm with friends, a fucking bowl just takes me out.
Yeah.
And it's like, because you're with friends, you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add about the Londyn Lay before we carried on?
It was very tasty.
Yes, it was very tasty.
Very tasty. Not the pheno I was expecting, but just very tasty.
I will say, I got some of it on my hand, and I always get dabs on my hands a little bit. Comparatively, this was less sticky. And I don't know if it's because of the process it's made, or it just happens to be it was still cold when it was on my hand, so it didn't feel as tacky.
Yeah, it may be a little both.
Okay.
I don't know, because like maybe the extraction process has something to do with the stickiness. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But
I will say, not really a review, but kind of more of an endorsement. So, one of the companies that were part of their affiliate program, Blazy Susan, we got that resin blaster from them, that reusable resin blaster.
And if you saw our Instagram video, it was in the box of the stuff we pulled out. That box is what we're talking about.
Or TikTok, or the Twitter post,
yeah,
or the Buddy Jane post. I pretty much put it everywhere. I think I also put it on Threads. Now that we have Threads, which go follow us on Thread.
I need to still make one.
I just made mine for the podcast, and I didn't make any of the other ones. So I tried, because of our Dr. Dabber was kind of a bit resiny.
Yeah, it was looking a little yellow.
In the chamber and in the atomizer part. So I was like, all right, well, let me hit this with the resin blaster from Blazy Susan. Oh my god. I literally poured it in the bubbler chamber and shook it, and it got rid of it all. I'm like, okay.
You with rubbing alcohol, like isopropyl, like regular just store isopropyl, nothing extra strong, stuff you get in the first aid section, and salt. Yeah. You still have to shake that for at least a good 3 minutes.
Solid. And let it sit there for a bit, too. Yeah. I will say, the instructions with the resin blaster does say you do have to shake the bottle before you pour it. And you're supposed to let it sit for up to 30 minutes. With the atomizer part of our Dr. Dabber, I definitely had to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it got it real clean. It's not 100% perfect. I didn't let it sit for all 30 minutes there. I think I did 20.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it got it real clean.
And this is also, how long have we had this fucking atomizer?
Yeah.
Over a year at this point.
Since we had it.
Yeah, since we've gotten this device. Which, endorsement for Dr. Dabber, this fucking chamber has lasted forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're affiliated with them.
Yeah. The Dr. Dabber's going to have their link in the show notes. Blazy Susan should have our discount code on it correctly. Because there was a few episodes I didn't have it correct. If it is, if you're listening and you want to order Blazy Susan while you're listening, our discount code is B as in boy, G as in golf, S as in soccer, O as in ostrich, T as in tomato, C as in cookies, 20. I tried not to use the NATO alphabet because not a lot of people know that, so I just tried thinking of common words.
I was so surprised you didn't, honestly.
All right, well, here's the NATO alphabet one. Bravo, Golf, Sierra, Oscar, Tango, Charlie, 20.
I honestly think that was easier to understand. They use it for a reason. It's...
Yeah. No, it is easy. And I think it's funny because, like, my little sister, who's going to turn, 13 in, like, technically 5 months.
She's going to be a teenager.
Yeah. Anyway, we used to do the spelling thing around here, but now she knows how to spell, so we do the NATO alphabet. Because she can't. It reminds me of that TikToker. It's like, hey, man, you want to get TREATs? Why are you spelling? Oh, because if we say it in front of Dan here, he's going to go crazy. But he can't spell. He's 30! So, first topic I want to talk about is I've noticed this trend online, not only just on, like, social media, like TikTok, Twitter. Well, not really TikTok, because TikTok rules. But like Twitter, Instagram, fucking mostly on Reddit though, specifically r/trees and r/PA medical marijuana. Which if you're not, you don't, okay, if your state has a medical marijuana or their own subreddit for the cannabis industry, go join that. But also go join r/trees because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They have a radio station. But I've noticed this trend where people are putting the entire full gram of RSO on something and eating it.
Oh my god. Do you like listen, I would be lying if I said that I hadn't thought about it. Because I have thought about it. What would happen if you just eat a whole syringe of RSO? And there are people that have to do that because their tolerance is so high.
True, and also because, the enzyme in the stomach that makes it harder for certain people to digest ingestibles. But here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
r/trees, a little more understandable if someone was like, you know what, I want to see what happens. Because, like, maybe they're in California. Maybe that, gram of RSO costs them, like, $12.
Yeah.
I don't know Cali's prices like that off the top of my head, but just using that as an example. But seeing it on the PA medical, where it costs...
You're paying $35-$40 for a gram of RSO minimum. That's low price for RSO.
Yeah, if you, like, work in the industry and you get, like, discounts or something, where an average full price is, like, $60 to $75.
And you're putting a whole gram of RSO on your piece of toast for the morning.
Yeah, you're just wasting money.
Yeah.
Because unless you're one of those people that's really hard to fill it, and I'm sorry for that, because you're just basically paying, like, at max $80 for one session.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for you. But in our program, if you end up doing that, you're wasting so much money because it's going to hit you just as hard as taking half of it for most people. The moment you take all of it, you're basically just going to get guaranteed to do one thing. For most people, one thing. All right, you're gonna take your bitch ass to bed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because or you're gonna get too high and you're gonna have like paranoia and panic attacks and everything,
And projectile vomit, because that has happened to me before.
You can't green out, but like in states where it's cheap, okay, cool. I'm not gonna like worry about it. Like, cool. If you want to experiment with that, you're either gonna throw up, pass out, or get really fucking paranoid and not want to do edibles ever again.
That is your body, bodily autonomy does not just go for.
Yeah, like people
You
get
can do whatever you
blackout
want.
drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is not worse than that. So, like, the worst part is you're gonna throw up. Okay, cool. Because you're doing a lot of a concentrate in your stomach at once.
Yeah.
Maybe your stomach doesn't agree with that, even if you don't green out. But here's my thing. In states where it's like low price like that, sure, cool, whatever. You do you. States like PA where it's expensive as crap, why are you guys doing that? That's literally just might as well like, oh hey, look, here's $100, throw it in a blender, shred.
Pretty much. It's also so fucking expensive.
It is. I mean, everything in the state's expensive. I mean, I'm so glad everything's going cheaper.
Yeah.
But I bought that our rosin that we just tried on sale for 30% off,
Mm-hmm.
and it was still $30.
Good grief.
Yeah, the cheapest one in our state is the Leafa for a full gram. Now keep in mind that was a half gram we have.
Yeah.
For a full gram, Leva's cheapest is $50, which is still the cheapest rosin in the state. Unless you go to like dispensaries like Ascend that for some reason have like a deal each day where certain products are $15. I don't know what the method of their madness is on that one, but we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of an expensive state. We're not the most expensive state with the medical program, but we are kind of an expensive state.
It's definitely gotten better, but it's still definitely like we have high prices.
Yes,
compared to everybody else.
And it could be a lot better.
I will say though, New Jersey's flower price is more than us.
Yeah, that's stupid. That is so stupid. I don't get why. And it's because, I mean, I get why, but like why? Like it's the New Jersey's Cannabis Control Board, and most of them are in the back pocket of MSOs. That's all it really is. That's all it really is, and it's sad.
It all comes down to who put whose money where.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we got enough time to do this. So Pittsburgh Normal, or PGH Normal technically, put out a thing today that Senators Dan Laughlin and Senator Sheriff Street introduced Senate Bill 846 for the 2023-2024 session. So what is it? It's another cannabis bill, but what is it exactly? This is the Spark Notes that Normal shared, and I kind of want to talk about that with you.
Okay.
Basically, it's a comprehensive adult use bill that regulates legal cultivation and distribution to adults 21 or older. SB 846 also amends the Medical Marijuana Act, as well as the Vehicle DUI reform. It's a very lengthy bill, and it takes some time to unpack all of the recent provisions. Now, this was introduced like 2 days ago, the time recording, which is 7/9. But here's their takeaways. They said, this is for the recreational. It seems recreational or adult use is allowed a max of 30 grams of flower possession limit. Okay.
All right.
That's fine. That's like basically what, 9/8?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just buy 9/8 and then smoke it all, and then bam, you're good. A max of 1,000 milligrams of infused product per possession. Max of 5 grams of concentrates limit. Which, before we get to the next part, let's talk about that. Is it the best amount? No. I've seen higher in other states.
Yeah.
I've seen lower in other states, though, too. So I think, this is just more of you're going to have to play the game. Yes. Would I like it to where there's no limit? Sure. But we're going to have to kind of play the game for right now and kind of wait till, everything goes federally legal to kind of get a little higher.
Yeah.
But, definitely a step in the right direction. And honestly, like I said, right now for our medical program, we're allowed a max of 192 units per 90 days. That unit is an eighth of flour, a gram of concentrate, or 1,000 milligrams of infused ingestibles, either RSO, 1 gram, or capsules.
Yeah.
So you're allowed 192 units for a 90-day supply.
That's a lot of weed.
That is a fuck ton of weed. No one's reaching that.
I'm looking at my bin right now. I don't even think I have that much.
No. Because, here's the thing, too. Say you're at your 30 grams, right?
Yeah.
You smoke half of that. Okay, cool. So that, you're... Okay, so you have like 9/8, because that's 3.5 grams or whatever. Sorry. Actually, you know what? Let me divide 30 by 3.5. Okay, so you're allowed like 8/8. You're allowed a full gram or full ounce of weed.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is that really? Oh yeah, because that's 28 grams. Duh. So you're basically allowed a full ounce, right? Say you smoke half of it. Okay, cool. So you have 14 grams, which means you're allowed to resupply yourself.
Yeah.
Also, how the hell are they going to keep track of that? Because here's my thing, right? We have to keep track in the state program MJ Freeway that we use. Every dispensary uses in the state of Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
It shows you what their thing is of purchases, but we can't verify how much they've used the product.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's impossible, Because say like, oh, it's for a 90-day supply. Okay, well, what if a person's buying a 90-day supply and then comes in a month later refilling a third of it?
Yeah. It's not exactly like the way prescriptions work, because prescriptions are like, hey, you can't get more until we say that you should be out of it.
Yeah, and
we have no way to say when you should be out of it.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, even if someone's following the dosage, what if they realize, oh, I need to use more of this dosage, and ends up using more of it more often, and they run out of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, that is also very subjective, because, like, is that actually a 90-day supply for somebody who has a high tolerance?
Yes. It's kind of like, it's so... Because cannabis is used as needed.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to verify anything like that. So I feel like that limit is just going to be a headache, and no one's really going to follow it. But,
we'll play the... Excuse me, we'll play the game.
Yeah, we'll play the game. It would allow home cultivation limited to medical patients only. Well, I'd rather not. It's a step.
Yeah.
Because that has been a critique that a lot of people on Twitter have been yelling at every post Street and Laughlin has posted online. Every post, every bill that they've introduced, like 853, every thing anybody medical co-sponsors, and they say, hey, look at this bill that's coming up, we need to support it. Everyone's been saying, where's the home cultivation for people? Where's the home cultivation for those who can't always go to the dispensary, and it's easier just for them to grow a plant?
Yep.
Where's the thing to help them? Because it's a way to help them too, because growing stuff helps people that are terminally ill or have mental health issues or anything. So I think this is a good. Well, I want to see it legal across the board. I want to have a garden in the new house we're getting. Mm-hmm. I want to grow weed, and I want to grow freaking peppers and call it a day.
And I'll grow the tomatoes, even though I don't eat them. I will grow them.
Yeah. Now they don't say here in a whole lot, but they did say it did. It will amend the DUI reform, but Normal didn't talk about a whole lot of that. So I'm assuming it'll be similar to what we've already seen introduced in the 2022-2023 session. Regulation voting session stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't guarantee it. But from what it seems so far, it is a lengthy read. I did try reading it, and I'm like, oh, no. There was no way I was going to be able to read it all between figuring this post, which was at 10 this morning, and now.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to be able to finish it. With all the stuff you and me were doing today.
All the legal jargon and shit, too, and, that shit reads like stereo instructions. Honestly, it
really does. Man, there was something else I wanted to bring up, and now I can't remember what it was. Crap. I can't remember.
Well,
it eludes me. Hopefully I'll figure it out after the break. Is there anything you want to bring up? Is there anything you want to talk about this bill that's been introduced? Like your thoughts, any additional thoughts with it?
It's about time. I really want it to be rec. I just want, at least to feel a little bit better. The social stigma part of it still, of even though, because we're in this weird gray area with medical, and I feel like even just the rec would make it better for medical patients and people who use it as medication, whether they're going to be medical patients or not. It's just going to relieve a lot of I feel like the social stigma and the pressure, and especially with it being fucking Pennsylvania. And just the way Pennsylvania has been about alcohol, the way that because we still have fucking dry counties. Hell, I just read an article about, I can't remember where the fuck it was. One of the states that just recently went recreational not that long ago, just having a county having a prohibition for marijuana in that county.
I mean, I will say, I think Lancaster, or one of the counties surrounding Lancaster.
I'm pretty sure it's Lancaster.
It's a dry county in the state of PA. But you have those, So I can see that with cannabis, but it's not going to be like in those counties you can't not have alcohol. They can't tell you can't drink it yourself.
You can't. They don't sell it there.
Yes, it is one of those counties where they don't allow sell of alcohol. You can literally just go to the store in the next county over and be like, "Hey, I want a beer."
Yeah.
But they have places like that in California too. There are counties in California that don't allow the sell and distribution of cannabis.
Interesting.
Which is weird because it's California.
Yeah, that is weird.
Also, I will say, if this passes, and you are a medical patient, I'm going to tell you this right now: in the state of Pennsylvania, renew your card. You're going to not get taxed. More often than not, it's going to follow like New Jersey or Maryland, California. You should not be taxed, and you're going to get home cultivation now. Keep your medical card.
Honestly, especially if you find a doctor who's going to do it for cheap, because a lot of these doctors are dropping their prices too, because it's something they do on the side. You're going to save so much money if you pay that doctor up front for the fee, than if you figure 9%, 10% tax or whatever we're going to, put on it.
Hopefully not that 19 that was proposed in another bill.
Yeah, okay, say worst case scenario, 19% sales tax. Every single time you go to buy cannabis, and you look at it's $75 to renew your card, that's $75 that's going to save you several $100s over the course of a year.
It's worth it. It's well worth it.
Absolutely.
Especially use cannabis a lot. Hit up Greenbridge Society here in Pennsylvania. They're great.
Yes.
I cannot recommend them enough. Telemed, this is years ago at this point. First renewal was $75. Every renewal afterward, $50.
Yep.
We're hitting that time for our break. We'll be back. I guess it'll be a quick little transition for you guys, but we'll be back in a few. Alrighty, and we are back. So I remembered the thing I wanted to talk about before the break.
Okay.
Two. So the reason why we did Rosin is because tomorrow, as of recording, is 7/10 oil day. So we kind of wanted to bring up like a rosin to kind of have like listeners know and kind of like, hey, this is a thing you guys should try. That it's kind of like our way to celebrate with you guys.
Yeah, do a review for you for 7/10.
That being said, this might not come out on 7/10.
Yeah.
But still, we wanted to kind of do a review, but also, talk about a concentrate we really liked and, kind of celebrate with you guys. The other thing I wanted to talk about is something we might review on the show. Not sure. But I kind of want to bring up a little, like, warning safety thing with it. So, G-Leaf and a couple other companies, but G-Leaf only in this state so far, has introduced the Dablicator to Pennsylvania. Now, a couple other companies have it in other states, but right now it's the only one is here in PA. Is G-Leaf. Now, what a Dablicator is basically like a little twist pen. Like you twist the dosage. You have 3 levels. You push the button, and it pours out the dose.
It looks like one of those like. You remember those colored pencils that had like the lead in them in the middle?
Or yeah, like the color. They're kind of like almost like a crayon.
Yeah.
On it, and you twist it, and it pushes the crayon up.
Yes.
Almost. Yes.
That's what it reminds me
of. Kind of like a glass blunt as well. Kind of that same basics. Now, what I want to bring up is there's the way they have it on their website in Dablicators. You can pour it right into your dab rig. You can pour it into your coffee. You can pour it right into your mouth. You can pour it into your joint. Technically, yes, you could do all that with a Dablicator. However, don't do that with Dablicators that have RSO in them. You can do it into your coffee. You can do it straight in your mouth. You can ingest it. Do not pour it in. If it's RSO, do not put it in your e-rig or your joint in other states or Pennsylvania. I don't give a fuck what you do. But don't put it in your joints because 9.5 times out of 10, all the RSO is made with ethanol. Is the solvent that they use in the process to make it. That is very harmful if you smoke that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to bring that note there. Because a little harm reduction thing, because not a lot of people know that. I've had patients come in and be like, well, I'll just take RSO and like put it in my rig. And we're like, don't do that. No, don't do that. Is there anything you wanted to add to that a little bit?
No, I wasn't quite sure why you couldn't dab RSO, but now I do know, and now everybody else knows as well.
Yes.
Because I was like, I'm not sure. I've had people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so, because if you get it too hot, you just burn off all the... it's not going to do anything.
That too. That's a thing for baking with RSO. I usually tell patients if you're going to use RSO to make edibles, do it in the end stage if possible. Like our gummy recipe that we have.
Yeah, after it cools down a little bit, then add your RSO.
Yeah, literally after it's already in the mold, after it's sit for like a minute, maybe 2, and then I pour the dose in the mold, which that Dablicator would be great for.
Oh, absolutely.
So I have some gay news.
Gay news.
So you know what the Trevor Project is, right?
Yes.
They're a big suicide prevention for LGBTQI plus minors.
If you're on my personal TikTok page, any of the money that gets donated through there, which I don't think any has yet, goes to the Trevor Project.
Well, they just laid off 12% of their staff.
Oh my goodness. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Back the fun truck up.
The organization states that reducing its workforce was a measure of last resort. This article is written on The Advocate by Christopher Wiggins on the 7th. So, before I go into the article, I have seen a thing on TikTok where a person got basically hired and then immediately fired the day they were supposed to work by the Trevor Project. Now, they did work at a temp agency, and a lot of the people who help with the Trevor Project go through temp agencies. But this started back in April. So this has apparently been a big issue for the Trevor Project. It's either April or May, I want to say, is when it came about for this person. And my thing is, okay, I understand if funding's an issue, but literally it's been taking so long, well before this new layoff and everything, to have someone get connected with a counselor.
Yeah.
Well before this. So there's already a workforce shortage. So what I'm worried about, and I'm trying to get in contact with the Trevor Project to get some words on this, what I'm worried about is someone's lining their pockets.
Yeah.
Now, does this happen a lot does it happen with every nonprofit? No. But does it happen enough that I'm worried about it? Yes. And that's the thing I'm scared for.
I'm also scared for the fact that they just laid off all of these people, and you said that it was hard to get somebody connected to a counselor in the first place. What's going to happen to trans suicide rates?
Mm-hmm.
When you call and you can't get a hold of anybody.
Exactly. Now, here's one thing I will say. The trans healthcare line is still there. That has not been fully affected by this. Well, it's probably taken out. There's still a lot more workforces. Now, fun fact, I'm going to say this now. If you are or know someone who is having issues with suicidal ideation and is having anything and his thoughts about it, hit 988. That'll take you to the general suicide helpline automatically, toll free. It's kind of like 911 at this point. Even if your phone doesn't have any minutes, it will work. 1 takes you to the general, 2 takes you to the veterans, and I think 3 is LGBT or trans related.
I did not know about this.
I'm going to put it in the show notes.
There's a text line. If you text, I can't remember what the number is, but we will look it up and put it in the show notes. Mm-hmm. You text home to this number. That way, if you have anxiety about making phone calls, you don't feel like you can physically talk to somebody on the phone. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because I've actually used this.
No.
You don't feel safe for any reason. You can text them and you'll be connected with somebody within usually 3 to 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They also do be aware if you do tell them anything, you're gonna hurt yourself or somebody else. They do have to send somebody to your location with any of these phone numbers. If you're texting them, they can I've had people ask, hey, is it okay if I call? Are you not in a safe place to call? Do you think it would be better to hear somebody on the other end? You don't even have to say anything. Just have somebody to sit with you.
Mm-hmm. Because I know for the veterans one, there's a lot of people who will help them. And most of the time, they don't send, from my understanding, most of the time that it's EMTs that get sent.
Yes.
Which is good because I don't feel like cops don't do any help in these situations. And a lot of times, most of them will try then using the cops as a way to, take care of things. Trying not to say it in a triggering way.
Yeah.
But going back to the Trevor Project, the country's largest youth crisis nonprofit organization that works with LGBTQIA plus young people. I don't know why you consider it. Just say minors. Has laid off a significant number of employees. It's just one of several challenges facing the company in the recent months. Quote, today the Trevor Project completed a reduction in its force that impacted 12% of our staff, it tweeted Wednesday. The decision was not made lightly. It was a last resort measure taken to ensure the sustainability of life-saving services. According to a blog post published Thursday, the Trevor Project's website in late June, unnamed leadership explained why many staff would be laid off. Quote, after several years of fast growth and commensurate financial support, we are now facing a tumultuous economic climate. The statement began. In order for the Trevor Project to continue to operate sustainably, we need to conduct a reduction of our workforce in the next month. The decision followed other cost-saving measures such as freezing hiring and limiting non-urgent travel. It follows concerns that the organization took on too much growth too soon, which led to the sacking of the company's former CEO, Amit Paley. According to the statement, the reduction in workforce will not affect counseling services provided by the Trevor Project. Bullshit, it already fucking has, and it has been for a minute. So bullshit. Sorry. This kind of shit irks me because you say one thing and it's totally opposite.
Yeah.
Amid the financial woes, the organization continues to fend off far-right attacks. True. In recent months, Republicans have falsely accused the Trevor Project of grooming children. Also, this is true. A lot of them, including fucking MAGA idiot, fucking Major E. Taylor Green or Tyler Green, whatever fucking name, Lauren Boebert. You know, the two dumb ones in politics. And Tommy Lobotomy. Tommy Lauren. Fuck all of them. What? I swear to God, every time I hear her talk, I feel like I'm having an aneurysm. During the past month, counselors operating the 988 Crisis Lifeline under the pilot program contract scheduled to expire on July 2nd complained that they were notified without much notice that their employment would have been terminated with no chance to ask questions. Yay! So maybe this is kind of hurting the 988 because it's a nonprofit, but I think there's a lot of volunteers who are just not 100% the greatest with LGBT stuff.
Yeah.
A few of those let go demanded that the company's leaders, including Peggy Rajewski, sorry if I'm mispronouncing names, the current interim CEO, resign. The layoffs come just 8 months after the former CEO was ousted to address concerns with the organization's rapid growth. Someone's skimming somewhere. Someone is fucking skimming off the top somewhere.
Something happened. That's what that seems.
So the CEO called it out, and someone's still skimming. I feel like is the issue because, like, oh no, they got rapid growth. That's good. Between the GLAAD Awards paying money, between Target paying money, well, previously paying money, previous years. People using it as like birthday fundraisers on Facebook, pride events doing it, small LGBT organizations doing it, hell, you and me doing it personally. Like, this shit adds up, and there's going to be rapid growth because obviously right now in this current climate, maybe we shouldn't be firing people that should be helping people in this current day and age when everyone's getting targeted, and it's very toxic to be online right now for a lot of people because it's severely affecting their mental health. Like, people are legitimately fleeing to Canada and out of other states into other certain states because of that state is passing bills and doing shit that are harmful and targeting a lot of people. So maybe we shouldn't be firing people. Maybe, I don't know, you're a nonprofit. As for government grants, maybe go into the red for a little bit.
For, like, the good of the people that you serve, like...
In a statement provided by a spokesperson at the time, Paley told The Advocate that his leadership has resulted in the organization growing from 50 to 500 employees. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
In addition, he pointed out that Trevor Project services would be launched in Mexico in the fall of 2022 as part of his global expansion. Also a good thing.
Yes. Make this available to as many places as possible.
Exactly. Like, what? That's not a bad thing.
No.
Current counselors at the Trevor Project who requested to be anonymous told the advocate that Paley's lavish spending was one of the reasons that they wanted him to leave. Understandable if he's going a little too crazy with the spending.
Yeah.
Those within the organization wanted Emmett Paley to remove because of their exuberant pay. One person said, "Oh, Emmett was getting a lot of money."
Ooh.
That's the issue. They were getting paid a lot off the top. If you work in a fucking nonprofit organization, and this is my opinion, if we would ever start a nonprofit, I would get paid as the highest manager. As a CEO, that's what the pay should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because that keeps costs low, because this is volunteer fucking work. One example that had been passed around throughout the departmental meetings was Emmett throwing his husband galas while crisis counselors were struggling paycheck to paycheck. Oh, so this is it. So, like I said, someone was skimming off the fucking top. I fucking hate it when that shit happens. That's like pissing in my Cheerios. Like, that gets me so fucking heated. Like, that gets my blood boiling.
For a fucking organization that's supposed to be helping your community, you are part of this fucking community, and you're supposed to be helping the LGBT community. And no, you're just fucking
throwing your husband his own gala. Like, the fuck. They asked, how can we adequately be there for our community when the organizations that leads us treats us like we're doormats? That's a fair question.
Yeah.
Because, like, yes, should the people doing that and are actually doing it as a day-to-day job get paid? Yes. Should they be paid adequately? Yes. Should the CEO be paying his husband's gala fees and throwing lavish parties? No. The person continued, every single counselor I know believes in our work, believes in the organization's mission, and wants better working conditions, but we are extremely burnt out and struggling to keep ourselves afloat. And now with the workforce being cut, that is going to increase more burnout and people leaving the Trevor Project. This is going to severely hurt the Trevor Project. Okay, here it is. And this is how the article ends. And so thank you for this article, and I will be screenshotting this as a way to put in our show notes. If you are having thoughts of suicide or are concerned that someone you may know maybe, resources are available to help. The 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline at 988 is there for people of all ages and identities. Trans Lifeline, designed for transgender and non-conforming people, can be reached at 877-565-8860. It's a Trans Lifeline. The Lifeline also provides resources to help with other crises, such as domestic violence situation. The Trevor Project Lifeline for LGBTQI plus youth ages 24 or younger. Oh, that's why you can't say minors, because it's 24 and younger.
Yeah.
Can be reached at 866-488-7386. You can also access their services at thetrevorproject.org /help or text START to 678-678. Okay. So, let me get situated here. Here's my plan of how this should fucking be fixed. Okay?
Okay.
You pay the employees well. You don't touch the employees' pay. You keep the entire workforce, because right now, this political climate is not the time to do this shit.
No.
Especially during Pride Month. You announce this during Pride Month.
A little homophobic of you.
Yeah, in a apparently backdoor way, because when I found this article, I looked at it, it was very hidden. And it caught a lot of people off guard, as the article said.
Yeah.
You keep the workforce. Any major higher up, CEO, a currently interim CEO, any of the board members, the higher ups that have been getting paid pretty well, you're going to fucking take a pay cut. You're going to take the highest floor manager's salary. You're going to take that for 2 to 3 years until this shit gets fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? You could fucking live off of that. And if you can't, you maintain that, but you give everybody else a raise and yourself a raise again. And then you'll go back to whatever you were. Because here's my thing, right? If you're in a non-profit organization, and I'm looking at a couple others right now, Salvation Goddamn Army and fucking, what is it? Goodwill?
Mm-hmm.
You should not be fucking living in the life of lavish luxury. You should not.
Well, you pay all of your employees, like, sometimes Goodwill, because I worked for them, $7.25 in some places, and then you bump them up to, like, oh, we'll give you a raise, so, like, you'll do $13 an hour, and, like, maybe you'll give your floor managers, like, $14 or $15, and, like, while your CEO is making how fucking much, you're a nonprofit also, and you're supposed to, that started out as like giving back to the community and everything. That's the thing that pisses me off with Goodwill. And everything from there is straight fucking profit. Mm-hmm. Everything gets donated to you. You pay for nothing except for your building, your lights, and your employees. Mm-hmm. Which means you should be able to pay them better.
Exactly. Instead of like state minimal.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that pisses me off is that's where it ends up happening because like it gets started by someone who has a brilliant idea to do something very good for people. Mm-hmm. And then either they can't work anymore for whatever reason, they're no longer on this plane of existence for whatever reason, it gets taken over by someone else. And maybe the first person that takes over is good and, continues it. But after there's going to come to a point where someone else takes over or the original person, even sometimes they get greedy. Greed seeps in. And then all of a sudden, they're taken off the top. It's not really about what's going on now. Now it's about them getting as rich as they can. Mm-hmm. There is a company, and I bring this up a lot, and I can never remember what fucking company it is, but the CEO does exactly what I suggest, and that's where I got it from. His salary, he took I want to say 40% cut in his salary to make sure everyone else was getting paid well and had a sustainable life and everything. And he goes, look at this though. Yes, I get kickbacks as I own the company and everything, so that kind of makes up a little bit for it. But I really don't care, and I kind of give everybody bonuses with that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I treat them better, they're happy. The happier they are, the more work they put in. The more work they put in, the more the product goes up. The more the product goes up and production goes up, the better the product is. The better the product is, the more money we all make.
Exactly. And that's the way it should work.
Exactly. And that's how it should be with nonprofits. Because there was a TikTok I saw, I want to say about a week ago, about how it was like this lady in New York who's a nonprofit director and everything, and talking about how she just bought herself and her husband new Teslas and everything, but they're helping homeless people. Ugh. Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah, that shit.
Gag.
Because I'm not gonna lie, what I suggested should be the way to go, because this is a work staff, not everyone's volunteering and everything. Because when I was in college, I was part of this co-ed service fraternity called Alpha Phi Omega. And if anybody's listening, we're the Alpha Beta chapter at Penn State. Because I don't know who's a brother or sister listening.
Yeah.
But literally, that's what we did. Every day, we would have our meetings outside of class, and we would set up multiple days throughout the week to do volunteer service out of our own pockets. And I still try to keep that with it today. I'm still trying to get us to, adopt a highway somehow. I'm trying to get us to, do cleaning. Every time I walk anywhere and I see litter, I try to pick up as much trash as I can. There's some things I can't do. I'm limited, because of physical limitations now.
Yeah.
Transportation is a little harder to do things like But like with work, I try getting it. Like we do can drives. I'm the one that's figuring out where to donate this food and everything. Like I'm putting in the effort to where I can. I try to donate money to organizations I believe in, like previously the Trevor Project, when I can, when I have the extra money, because these are good organizations, or supposed to be good organizations.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I don't want to say this like to where I'm like, oh, I'm better than anyone else. I'm saying if you're going to do volunteer work and truly help people, this is the kind of mentality you're supposed to have, in my opinion. Not oh, we're doing it for the good of like these homeless people. Basically, to make you pat yourself on the fucking back.
Make yourself look good while helping these people.
Exactly. Like, if you're gonna do this shit, you cannot be the person to pat yourself on the back while you're actively not helping the actual situation, but more helping yourself.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add to that? I know I went on a huge rant. I am sorry. This shit gets me pissed the fuck off for a reason.
No, that's fair. I don't know. You pretty much covered it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Like, and I think, because of how much I've done and shit, like, well, like, there's homeless organizations and stuff like Proud Haven, which we've been trying to support with our show, and we donate on our own time, every month. But we've been trying to get like other people to donate, which that's still going on. Please donate. The last days are coming up on the 12th. Please donate to that. It is in our show notes. I might actually just re-kick it. I might just keep it up, like just reinstate it.
Okay.
Because it's something I truly believe in. Because I was homeless at one point, and I don't want anyone else to have to deal with that. Because I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents tried their best to keep me sheltered from it and everything, but like, it was hard, So if I can help people go against that any way I can, I'm gonna try doing that. What?
Just you looking at you.
Okay.
What? I'm just listening.
It's just your face you're making.
That one?
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add or say?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we are getting close to the end of the episode, so I think we should probably sign off.
Okay.
Once again, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
And this has been another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. I'm sorry. I guess the weed still hit me pretty hard. Bye.
Bye.